Oh, I do love the dancing intro every time. It's actually the best. Anyway, hi, double podcast today because we actually had one earlier on with Steve O'Sullivan from I Left You a Note, which was all about customer feedback for hospitality and cafes, restaurants, all that jazz. Really cool conversation. So if you haven't already checked it out, probably haven't already checked it out because that was only like 4 hours ago today for me. But anyway, we are back again. I think this is episode 10 of this season. So that's 3 seasons done this year, 30 odd episodes of content. A lot of hours of people looking at my face. And we were planning on a squad pod tonight, but Mr. Martin is under the weather with the flu.
Yeah.
Poor guy, very sick. But instead, we've just got John and Alex for our usual gaming segment. Alex is our gaming expert and knows many things about many games, and we are going to talk games. So, how are you getting on, buddy?
Good. There's been a lot coming out. I think the autumn in particular was pretty stacked with content and news. There's a lot of big stuff going on at the moment.
Yeah, there's a lot of big stuff at the moment. We're like, do we start with the hack? Do we start with the court games? Do we start with the seasonal games? Do you know what? Seasonal games, because the court thing and the leak are going to be two major topics.
Yeah, and it is spooky season, so let's just start that off well. So I've got a list of 5 games that are fun to play spooky season. None of them are new. Only one of them actually came out this year, and it's a remake. It's not even a new game, but they're all just top tier spooky games, fun to play at Halloween. Why not?
Have a nice day.
So if you've got a couple, do you want to go 1 and 1?
I actually, would you believe I'm not a fan of horror games? They scare me, and I'm a little bitch.
Fair.
Yeah. One of the lads recommended. Jesus, one of the lads after finishing is Dead Island or something like that.
Oh yeah.
I was like, no,
not for you.
Just scary games. I even horror movies and stuff like that. I tend not to watch them because I am a baby, and no, I don't want to be going to bed and be like, that is totally a ghost in the corner when it's just a shadow of my last can of caffeine.
Well, hopefully some of these, they're not really scary, just spooky or occult themed maybe. So the first one I've got is, I call it the best game I'll never play again. Because it is sort of a murder mystery style game. It's Return of the Obra Dinn. Now, this is a game by a guy called Lucas Pope, who, if Marty was here, that will be ringing bells in his head because he made Papers, Please.
Okay.
So if anyone's not heard of Papers, Please, you're a passport worker at the border of some Eastern Bloc country Cold War.
Yeah.
It sounds ridiculous and boring, but it's class. Obra Dinn, similar vibe of the premise. You work for an insurance company. This boat has just come back to shore, but it's empty. And it's your job to find out how people died, how they went missing, what happened on the Obra Dinn that made it return to shore empty.
That's kind of cool.
Yep. So you have a magic pocket watch, and your logbook. And your pocket watch will show you the moment of an individual's death. So you have to use that frame. You can fully move around in 3D space. You have to use that to figure out who they are, what their job was on the ship, and how they died. You have to do that for 160, 170 odd people.
Okay. So does it is it kind of one of those kind of simulator style games, but just with a kind of a
kind of. Yeah. So it's like, even the visuals are really cool. You can turn it into sort of an MS-DOS game, or like you can make it look like it's running on an old Mac 2 or anything like that. Looks really, really cool.
Nice. That's nerdy as fuck.
It's very nerdy.
That's uber nerdy.
Yeah,
I'm going to reduce my graphics so that I'm playing off an old system.
So I call it the best game I'll ever play again because since it's a murder mystery, once you know who someone is, you're never not going to know who that person is or how they died. Sure. So I know who the captain was. I know who the cook was. I know where all the people went missing. I might play it next year or the year after that when I inevitably forget what happened. But
it's a one and done title. It's not something you can kind of come back to and run again.
Exactly. Now it's 16, 20 euro, so it's not going to break the bank. As I said, for value for money, it's one of the best games I've ever played. It's easily top 10 for me.
I'm going to go off tangents because this is what we do here.
That's how we
I
do.
have definitely noticed that this year, the kind of premier titles, the games that have really taken off have been in the 40 and under category in terms of price point. It doesn't seem like this year any of the heavy hitters, apart from maybe Black Myth Wukong, apart from maybe them, everybody else who's had a home run of a game this year has been in that 40 or under space, whether that's Helldivers, Palworld, etc., etc. That seems to be the sweet spot. Is that because, like, is that just because, like, the indie developers are actually producing finished, nice games, or what's the
I think it's a kind of a combination of that, and I think we might be seeing, an early knock-on effect of maybe some of the subscription models, because if you're, say, the developer of Palworld and you want to get people to buy your game, it's on Xbox Game Pass. So if you want people to buy it, you don't want to price it at 60 quid or 70, because they're just not going to do it. We even saw that with Concord, the team hero shooter that Sony cancelled after 11 days. Everyone tried to come up with various reasons as to why it was cancelled or what happened or what went wrong. Simple answer was, it was 40 quid in an environment full of free games. Overwatch 2 is totally free. Apex Legends
also a nice title. I've played Overwatch 2. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Like, by all accounts, the gameplay and the actual game itself for Concord was great. But you're not going to be able to charge people for something they can already get for free and have been getting for free the entire time the game was in development, the last 8 years.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah, so I think a lot of smaller developers are kind of cottoning on to that even more than they already had. Thinking we're never going to get people to pay full whack if they can get the game for free or a similar experience for free.
But I think it makes sense, though, because there is such a churn of shite at the moment in the gaming space. And that's the nicest way to put it. Like, I think people are willing to roll the dice on a game that's 40 or under. Like, if you see a game that you don't like, unless it's like your Call of Duties, your FIFAs, your GTAs, I don't think there's many people who are willing to part with 80 quid plus for a title that they don't really know much about or aren't, like, for the casual gamer. I've played Palworld. I fucking love it. And for 40 quid, it's worth the money. But I can guarantee if they turn around and get that 70 quid, I'd have been like, yeah, I'm not paying that.
No, not a chance. Especially if a lot of those games are going to have microtransactions or something that will expect you to pay more.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen. And it's stupid to expect it. So that's our first little Halloween game.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Next one, again, not very scary. In fact, not scary at all, but spooky, occulty. Cult of the Lamb. Now, this one
came out terrifying.
It came out a couple of years ago. And basically, you are a sweet little lamb who has been sacrificed to appease 4 elder gods. So when you die, you go to the realm of the 5th elder god, and he uses you as his vessel on earth to take down the other 5 because they spurned him. So to do that, you need to get a cult, you need to have followers, you need to get them to pray to you and listen to your sermons and all that kind of stuff to make you more powerful so you can go and kill the 4 other elder gods. And it's really like cartoony style. If you've ever played Binding of Isaac, it's like that, but with a base building mechanic as well and a community management mechanic. So you build little huts for them to sleep, for your followers to sleep in. You have a church where you go and give sermons. You can get them to farm. You can cook for them. You can sacrifice them to appease the gods. All that fun, wholesome stuff,
Yeah, it's standard wholesome. Let's go pray to a lamb and sacrifice everybody as in my cult. Totally doesn't sound like a Waco video game or anything.
No. And the reason this is a good one, is A, it's a little bit cheaper than it would be under €40. B, it's on PlayStation Plus. I don't even think you need the premium one. I think it's just PlayStation Plus, whatever the middle tier is. And
it's just standard premium.
Something like that.
So on the standard, the $11.99
the middle, mid-tier, and it just got a co-op update, so you can have one of you can be a goat and one of you can be a lamb. So,
I'm sorry, but like a game that goes here, pray to the goat.
It's really fun. Now, everyone's mileage is going to vary because
Sure.
I have the PS5. I played the PS5 version. It is at the moment, until the PS5 Pro comes out, it's the most powerful gaming hardware you're going to get for under 600 quid.
Yeah.
The game just lagged and would not load for me on numerous occasions. So everyone's mileage is going to vary.
And what kind of cost are we talking about for that one?
Oh,
you said free on the free.
Yeah, it's free on PlayStation, or it's under, I think it's 30 quid, maybe 20 quid, something like
Again,
that.
the sweet spot.
Look, for the hours I played it, I had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I'd highly recommend it to everybody. I'm sure if you get it on PC, it will run fine. But there you go.
Steam Deck PC, something with a bit of vavavoom, a bit of oomph.
Exactly. A bit more oomph and a bit more kind of, you can tweak it a bit more than you can with the home console.
Yeah. All right.
Moving on. Again, probably a bit more spooky is Luigi's Mansion. 1, 2, or 3. You can't go wrong.
I wouldn't say Luigi's Mansion is a horror. Look, yeah. Okay.
I mean, the first one is pretty scary. The first one is scary. I will stand by saying the first one is scary. Second one less so. The third one even less. But they're all on the Switch now as of this year. When Luigi's Mansion 2 came, I love them. I grew up on them.
You're a big Nintendo fan as well.
I'm a big Nintendo fan. Like, it's crazy that on the GameCube, it was Luigi who was the launch game, not Mario. Mario Sunshine didn't come until a couple of weeks after. Yeah, Luigi's Mansion was the #1 game on the GameCube when it launched.
That's fucking cool.
Crazy.
Like, to be fair, I am also a Nintendo fan. Like, probably not to the same extent as yourself. Like, I love the Zelda titles. Any of the Mario games, I kind of run through them, and obviously the Pokemon titles. Like, I've played pretty much everything bar the previous gen. So, like, I played Arceus, and I played what was the one that came after
that? Scarlet and Violet.
That's the one. So the base before them, the run before Arceus, I didn't bother with
Shield. Yeah,
Sword and Shield. They were muck. So I think they're the first Nintendo titles in maybe 15 years I haven't played.
Yeah,
of your big hitters, like Zelda, Mario, Pokemon, and stuff like that. But like Luigi's Mansion is a great game, and it's got a huge following.
Oh, massive cult following, huge. Everybody was crying out for a new one whenever there was a Nintendo Direct around this time of year, because now is obviously the perfect time to announce it or release it.
Christmas, baby.
Yeah.
Gotta spend those dollars on Christmas presents for the ladies. Or Santa gotta lift up and do his thing, so he needs new titles.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
I'm shocked that still you'd be put like that's still like a Luigi's Mansion game. I know it's the new version, Joe. It's #2 and stuff like that. I'm surprised that hits your 5 spooky season games.
Oh, it's so good. It's never a bad time to go back and play them, and now is the best time.
Oh, anyway, guess what I'm doing tonight? You've ruined my night.
Yeah. The next 2 are incontrovertibly horror games. Next one, Resident Evil 4 Remake, came out earlier this year. Resident Evil 4, again, one of the best games. Full stop.
Yeah.
Quite scary. It's got that real kind of B-movie horror vibe to it. Leon Kennedy, the main character, he's just this like over-the-top, cheesy, like 80s action hero cop. He's always got these one-liners, just
big amazing. Mustache.
No, he's got the blonde hair. He's got the blonde floppy hair.
Oh, he's one of those. He's Irish cop.
It's brilliant. So good that when it launched on the GameCube, they brought out a special chainsaw controller for it. Very cool. I'd highly recommend everybody look it up. It's class. You're Leon Kennedy. You have to go and rescue the president's daughter from a village in Europe, Spain, somewhere. They're all
just Europe.
Yeah, one of the bosses is called El Gigante.
Okay, so it's not Letterkenny that they're in.
No, it's not Letterkenny. It is somewhere in like
mainland
middle
Europe.
of nowhere, Spain. And everyone there is infected with the T virus. Just turn into zombies and horrible monsters, and it's a rip-roaring good time. I can't recommend it highly enough.
I'll tell you now, no. Joe, I'll actually tell you why I don't play horror games anymore, and it's because of an event that me and Martin went to many, many moons ago. There was these German dudes, and now everything is more scary in German, by the way.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah.
It's just fuck that. It was a haunted house VR game,
Oh, fun.
and it's in German. Mein Vater. And you're just like walking through this house and you're looking for clues of where you go into the baby's room. Baby's not in the cot, and you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, here we go.
And then you turn around and guess who's in the doorway?
It's the baby.
No, it's the person who took the baby.
Oh.
And then they run at you, and then when they ran at me, I squealed, and the whole room of everybody that was at that event, a couple hundred, maybe a couple thousand, actually a couple thousand odd people, heard me scream like a 2-year-old.
Yep.
And since then, I've been like, see, horror games, especially immersive ones, not for me.
Well, have I got news for you? Because Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 8 are both playable in VR on PlayStation. So if you have the PSVR 2, you can strap it on and play VR and truly, truly terrify yourself. I made a promise to myself that this would be the year that I played through Resident Evil 8 in VR. I can't even get past the first half an hour. Like, you're in the house and Chris comes and he takes your baby, and then you go to the village, you get captured by these werewolf people, and that is the moment that my pants get heavy and warm. It's not a good time. I can't do it. I can play through it like without VR, fine. Absolutely no problem.
Yeah.
When it's actually happening to you, different kettle of fish entirely.
Yeah, when it's immersive, there's something about that where it's like, it's too close, too near me, don't like this.
No.
Bring me back to my safe space, and I'm going to watch Sesame Street on loop for the next 8 hours so I can feel happiness again.
Yeah, just give me the Mr. Snuffleupagus content.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Then the last one, possibly the scariest one of the list, and only came out recently, the Silent Hill 2 remake.
I've heard a lot about this.
Yeah, so Silent Hill 2, arguably, again, one of the best horror games ever made. It's one of those ones that it really did a lot with the limitations it has. So it had a shorter draw distance, so it's always really foggy. They had a fixed camera, which made it seem like someone was always watching you, as opposed to you playing as James Sutherland. But they've just brought out the remake. It was done by Bloober Team, who did the God of War 1 and 2 ports for PS3. They remade Shadow of the Colossus. So they have good pedigree for remakes. They have not as good a track record with original games, but by all means, or by all accounts, this is a great remake.
Yeah,
very faithful to the original.
And they've been raving about it. They've been like, I don't care that you don't like scary games, you have to play this. I'm like, still not for me, but
yeah,
fine. Like, it's like, there was another title recently. Is it Alan Wake?
Alan Wake 2, yeah, that came out. Yeah, that's about a year ago, because I remember it was nominated for a lot of stuff at Game of the Year.
Is it maybe just like an updated version? Or
I think it must be an updated version, or like a
reskin or something. Yeah, because I've been hearing bits.
Yeah, a lot of buzz around it. It was nominated for Game of the Year. I think it won Best Narrative, maybe. Don't quote me on that. But I haven't played it personally. I played the first one and I loved it.
The promo.
Don't quote me on that.
Quoted. Noted.
It's like that allegedly get out of jail free card. If you say it on a podcast, you're not legally responsible.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Who knows?
So yeah, that would be my roundup of like my personal top 5 spooky games to play.
Run them through for me.
So we have Obra Dinn, Cult of the Lamb, Luigi's Mansion, Resident Evil 4, 7, 8, take your pick, and Silent Hill 2, if you want to try something old and something new.
Ooh. I'm in for that.
Yep.
Now, I want to take a particular topic.
Yeah, let's go. Oh, we're getting into this again. Hang on, where are they?
Yes, we're getting into this again. We are talking the Palworld and how they is in trouble.
Yeah, Palworld is in serious trouble. So a couple of weeks ago,
it's basically this.
Yeah,
but they're also guns.
The interesting thing is, everyone as soon as Palworld came out, everybody and their mother assumed that Nintendo were going to sue them, or the Pokemon Company or Game Freak were going to sue them.
Any of the above.
Because a lot of the pals look similar to Pokemon.
Allegedly.
But what has actually happened is they straight up took the 3D models, recolored a lot of them, and called them something different.
Sometimes they didn't even recolor them. There is literally there's a Fox Park or something like that is one of the names of one of them, and it's a Vulpix.
Yep.
It's
the Alolan Vulpix. Yep. There's one that's just a Lucario. There's one that's just a Luxray.
And an Elekid and stuff like this. This is just Pokemon nerding out. But anyway, like genuinely, there's a Pikachu without a tail. And you're like, it's a Lemmouse or something like that. You're like, you didn't even try.
But the crazy thing is, that's not what they're being brought to court for.
Fuck off.
It's patent stuff. So Game Freak has a number of patents that are exclusive to the Pokemon games. I think it's got to do with the capture mechanics or the team or something like that.
It's the Pokeballs and stuff like that, because essentially
like that.
In Palworld they use Palballs.
Palballs.
Which is essentially looks like a Pokeball, different color, and it has a hook on it so it looks like a Christmas bauble.
Yep.
And essentially it's the exact same thing. You throw it at them, and if you throw it at their back, it's like, oh, higher chance of capture. Like,
so it seems like that's what they're being brought to court for, and not any of the design stuff, which I can kind of understand, because Pokemon is the biggest brand worldwide. That's not an exaggeration. That is, it is the highest grossing franchise of all time by a wide margin. I think it's like
in Hong Kong they have Pikachu vending machines.
It's earning something like 50 billion more than Hello Kitty, which is the next biggest one. Which is crazy to me. But if the hallmark of the Pokemon franchise is the Pokeball, and if that's being sold not only in the game, but in the show, in the books, in merchandise, which is where all the money comes from, let's be honest, I totally get that. I totally see why they wouldn't want anything like a competitor in that space. And if they have the patent for that, fair enough.
Check and mate. I just find, I remember, because myself and three of the boys did like a co-op version, so we're all building our little homely village. I have made Rivendell, and it's glorious. I have a little nook on a hill, and there's a water feature. I built it intentionally on the waterfall, so I have a water feature.
Oh, 100%.
I'm like, yeah, I've made Rivendell.
The thing Pocket Pair should be worried about is this is coming so long after the launch of Palworld. So I would imagine Game Freak and the Pokemon Company have just been slowly building this case over the course of a year. And just getting all their ducks in a row. So they're well prepared. And the Pokemon Company has never lost a legal case.
When you have that kind of wedge behind you.
When you're the biggest grossing franchise in the world, you can hire some damn good lawyers.
That's a problem.
So I would imagine in the next few months we'll be hearing about Pocket Pair paying a lot of money to Nintendo, and whether they'll be able to keep the lights on, who knows.
I think they will. I have a smell of percentage of earnings about this. I think this is going to be one of those things that, because Palworld has taken off and it has done good sales across multiple platforms, I reckon Nintendo are going to look at that and go, here's the deal. We now swallow you, and we're going to take X amount of everything you've ever earned from this.
I'm not so sure, because it's a patent thing and not a copyright thing.
Oh, you think they're just going to be like, here, you're done?
I think they're just, no, you're done. You're out. I think it's going to be either financial ruin to makes it unviable for them to continue going, or they're going to say something like, remove the Pal Ball.
And what are you going to do? Have a Pal Cube instead?
Yeah, Pal Cube. Pal Net. Turn into
whatever.
Aquascape. But now, get your tinfoil hats ready. Was it someone in Game Freak who enjoyed playing Palworld that leaked over a terabyte?
We're going into that.
This is the big. We've had Pokemon leaks in the past. This is the biggest one, and it is the most concerning and low-key dangerous one, because I have to say up front, employee details were leaked, addresses, financial statements, bank details, not cool. That's
ever.
not cool. I want to make that perfectly clear.
Yeah,
Same
no,
with the
don't go fucking
Insomniac one
around
that
with
happened
people.
last
Like,
year.
if you want to, like, if you're gonna fuck around and find out, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Like, like if you want to release that they have games in development for the next 8 years, I mean, we're going to like that because obviously, you know,
But also,
content.
when in the last 25 years has there not been a Pokemon game in development?
Yeah, I mean, it's common. You'd kind of take that as a given. It's
Yeah.
Pokemon are planning on making new games.
What do you mean there was a trailer? Nah, there was a trailer, but that doesn't mean there's a game.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they came out with a statement saying absolutely nothing about any of the details of the games or the old beta sprites or anything like that being released. Like,
Yeah.
for a casual viewer would assume they don't really care about that kind of stuff. What they actually came out and said was, you know, you shouldn't have leaked all our employees' stuff. So now everyone's assuming the next Pokemon Direct is going to look something like an ISIS video, with whoever leaked it just in a dark room tied to a chair.
What now, sir? What did you do?
Yeah.
How did you get in here?
You know, have the voice modulator. It's like, what did you do?
I'm imagining that. Do you know the way they say, like, when Disney sues someone and it's just like Mickey Mouse, like, I'm just expecting Ash Ketchum being like, hi.
Yeah.
I'm going to catch you too. And guess what?
Yeah.
Like, so what actually got dropped outside of obviously the pile of mess of everybody's personal details?
So not actually a huge amount of any real consequence. So there was a lot of stuff from previous generations of Pokemon about, you know, beta sprites or original, like, primary designs for Pokemon that, you know, were unused, or, you know, unused up until now, and now that they're cool with having different forms for Pokemon, they might bring them back and they might look at old designs and say, oh, that was actually really cool, let's use that again.
Yes.
So, and we're also finding a lot of, like, you know, fair weather fans, not to gatekeep, but the original third generation, so Ruby and Sapphire, the original water starter wasn't Mudkip. It was a rabbit with like a swimming water ring on it. And everyone's saying, oh, this one's really cool. I really like it. And I hate those people. They were never fans of Mudkip. They're just fair weather fans. Everybody loves Mudkip. He was the best starter in that generation.
Okay, good save. I was about to go.
But the best starter is obviously Totodile. That's a fact. I don't make the rules.
I do. Yeah, I mean, like Fuecoco and his big dopey head. I enjoy him.
He's nice. Yeah.
I enjoy the big stupid. It's like,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Especially because they can follow you around. That you're just like,
he was great in fodder.
Come here, you little idiot.
Yeah, you little dumbass. Come on.
Where are you going?
Yeah, apart from, like, they've obviously leaked that they are making a game that is going to be a cross launch on the Switch and whatever the next Nintendo hardware is going to be. Sorry, the next Nintendo console is going to be. And that's pretty, like, they've dropped the internal code name for the console. I think it's like comma or something like that. Is that important? Kind of Does anybody care?
So, like, basically, we have the new Switch that's on the way, and then we know that there's other toys coming in the future.
Yeah.
Shocking horror that they're making.
Oh my god, Nintendo is making a new console that we've seen leaked designs for, which is exciting.
Yes. What do we got? Like, what are we looking at? What are we looking at?
So it's just the Switch again, but better. It seems like they were really taking a if it ain't broke, why fix it approach. I
do like that Nintendo have always done the handheld games, handheld consoles, but then also do you know what? I think the Switch found their happy place.
Oh, totally.
I think the Switch found their happy place because, like, you had your consoles like your Wii, which was still, for me, one of the top 3 most iconic consoles ever because it was such a game changer.
Mm-hmm. It was a juggernaut.
You're still going to knock into some secondhand shops, find yourself a Wii, and go, yeah, I'm playing that. Mm-hmm. Let's go bowling, motherfucker. Yep. But, like, the Switch is kind of like both of their vibes kind of collapse, where it's like, you've got this to travel, but you can also game and like, yeah. So
yeah, the
I think
cynical
the
the
only thing they
cynical
need to
side
do
of
is
me
go for it.
the cynical side of me says the reason they haven't released the updated version or like the Switch 2 or whatever it's going to be called yet is because they want to hit the milestone. They want the Switch to be the biggest selling console of all time, and
it's very close.
It is, I think, less than 10 million away.
Yeah. So this Christmas they knock that out.
If they could bang it out this Christmas. They dropped a new gold like Hyrule Switch Lite, which is going to move units. So they're going to, I think they're going to announce the Switch 2 soon, and then it will launch next year, same as they did with the Switch.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so they've looked at the internal hardware, and it looks like it's going to be around, if everything matches up and everything lines up the way people think it will. Obviously, it's very difficult if you just have the hardware numbers. But in terms of power, they're looking at slightly above the PS4, kind of between the PS4 and the PS4 Pro, which I think is perfect for a Nintendo console. Like, it doesn't actually need to be better than that, really. And
I do want more power out of the Nintendos. Like, I do think there's certain games that, like, there's games that work on the PlayStation, and they're slick. And then when you actually play them on the Switch, you're like, oh, fuck, you can really see the Switch's cool spot is the cartoonish graphics, the happy childhoodness of the style of the games. But if you're going to compete against the big boys in terms of design and output, you need to have that firepower in your locker, and I think the Switch doesn't have it.
But they're not competing. They never have.
They don't have to.
They don't have to. Yeah, they've sold more than Sony and Microsoft combined. Nintendo could have run a loss for the next 25 years and still have more money than Sony's PlayStation department.
Fucking insanity, man.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
But, what's really interesting about the new console is it has 2 fans. Why, you ask? Now, there was a rumor going around about 6 or 8 months ago that you would have the Switch 2, for all intents and purposes, and you would be able to dock it and take it out like you can with the regular Switch, but because there's, it would seem, a fan in the dock, that is not just the dock, but it's also a streaming hub. So you are streaming from the Switch 2 to the hub, which goes to the TV. So you now essentially have a home console, TV-sized DS.
Ooh.
Ooh. So it's like the Wii U, but in a single unit that you can take with you wherever you want to go.
So, like, I can have something on my display and on the screen at the same time?
No, you can have 2 separate things.
Okay, you've just, like, melted brains.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be really good.
Now, this is all conjecture. This is all rumors.
Allegedly. Many allegedlys and some asterisks and whatnot.
Yeah, so that's what people are thinking. That's what people are hoping. I think that is very cool. Interestingly, in the next week or so, we're going to find out what Nintendo might be planning in terms of online features. They recently announced they were holding an open or a semi-open beta test for some online feature. They were going to run it for 2 or 3 weeks. They were opening it up to 10,000 people. They said, we're going to have this sign up open for 5 days. As you could possibly imagine, it filled up in about 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah. Shock.
Nobody knows what it's for. Nobody knows what they're going to be testing, but they have.
Who cares?
They have politely asked that people don't share it. There's no NDAs. There's no nothing. But they've politely asked that people don't share it. They keep it a secret. So we're going to find out as soon as it goes live what they're testing.
I was like, yeah, because like I know myself. If I was handed like fresh toy like that, and they're like, "Can you talk about it?" We'd rather you didn't.
Yeah.
It's like, well, guess what I'm going to do?
Yeah, unless my name is on a piece of paper.
It's not even that. It's like, can I talk about it? It's like, yes, but we'd really appreciate it if you didn't. I'm like,
yeah. Please no.
It's coming on this show in 10.2 seconds. I'm like, look what we got. Oh my God.
What is it?
I don't know. I don't know what is this.
So yeah, that's like it's an interesting time for Nintendo because
There's a lot going on there between
mm,
them suing the absolute arse off a game,
mhm,
between them obviously combating leaks. Oh, the leak of the century, might I add, which is
yeah,
NSA level of fucking security that someone's after hacking through to get
oh yeah,
everything. That sounds to me like someone internal.
yeah,
It smells internal, but let's say allegedly, and we'll move on to them. And then you've obviously got this new console hardware and stuff like
mhm.
this, which is set to release. So Nintendo have been busy.
Very busy. Yeah, we're in this weird nebulous period where they've said it's going to release Q1 before the end of Q1 2025.
Oh, so they're
Which,
telling us in the next like 2 weeks what's happening.
yeah, so that gives them a 6-month window.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
and it was this time last year that the Switch was announced. I actually think it was yesterday or the day before, 8 years ago,
Mm.
2016.
God.
Yeah,
Yeah, Nintendo were up to bits. Are Microsoft dead yet? Have they just given up on Xbox? Is it time? Is it time?
I don't know. I'm so conflicted by it because
Because Sony or Sony, they're trundling along. They've won the console war between Xbox and Sony. Like that's game over,
yeah,
checkmate.
oh yeah, like
Sony are going to trundle on through Nintendo, or Nintendo they're up to bits. But
yeah,
Microsoft, I feel like are just
yeah, they're struggling, but they've. I think this must have been off the back of um, Astrobot, which has homage to the last 30 years of PlayStation and all their legacy characters and everything like that. One
yes.
of the execs at Microsoft or Xbox told some conference audience nobody cares about Banjo-Kazooie, which, number one, not correct. Everybody loves Banjo-Kazooie, which is why thousands and thousands of people lost their minds when they were announced for Smash Ultimate.
Yeah.
But if nobody cares about Banjo-Kazooie, why did you buy them? Microsoft owns Rare. They own the studio that makes Banjo-Kazooie and Conquer. Why are you going to buy this IP to just sit on it and do nothing
But
with it?
why would you buy the IP and then at your first
Yeah,
conference, nobody cares?
they made
You should have
one.
said that before you bought it and
Yeah,
knocked a couple of zeros off of whatever you bought it for.
they made one Banjo-Kazooie game on Xbox 360, nuts and bolts, which everybody hated because it was nothing to do with Banjo-Kazooie. It was nothing like Banjo-Kazooie or Banjo-Tooie. Everyone hated it. And then Microsoft said, oh, people hate Banjo-Kazooie. It's like, no, we hate what you did to Banjo-Kazooie. So,
Yeah,
and I think that speaks to the deeper issue in Microsoft is they really just don't know what they're doing.
I don't
There
think they
really
do
seems to
anymore.
be either no leadership or terrible leadership. They're not making games. They're not selling consoles because they're not making games. I don't know what's going on. I would be surprised if they announce another console.
Oh, they'll go again.
Yeah.
They will. I'm like they're going to go again, but I reckon they're going to change their model.
Mm,
I reckon they know that the home entertainment ecosystem that they were hoping for has completely died.
yeah.
I reckon they go down the Steam Deck route because that's why everything's on the Xbox Pass and stuff. I reckon
Yeah.
that's the. I reckon that. Do you know what it is? That's the only route I can see for them. Now, that's not saying I'm some savant or gaming expert that would know that here maybe they have a console ready in the wings that they can do
Mm,
something crazy with. But considering with like the Xbox Pass and all that kind of that kind of move, it's given me a whiff of they're going to go the Steam Deck route of
yeah.
buy this handheld where you can access your whole back catalog of stuff that we've done in the past because we're not going to make anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think as well they've sort of hit a. I think internally there's probably rumbling of we've massively fucked up here because there was the whole they bought Bethesda and they said Bethesda games are going to be exclusive to Xbox. No, they're not.
No, no.
Like at Summer Game Fest, we saw the new Doom, Indiana Jones, all that kind of stuff, but they're both coming to PlayStation because they're not going to sell any of them on Xbox
Because you can't get it. Yeah.
because you could just get them for free day one.
This seems just like a
Yeah,
bad idea.
yeah. It's just throw stuff at a wall and see what sticks. I think inside Microsoft at the moment, which is why Sony were able to launch the PS5 Pro at such an insane price, because
There's nobody to cut them.
there's no competition. They
There's
have
no
no
competition.
they have no competition.
The Xbox Series had like womp womp womp. Give me the tune. Give me my sound effects of a flushing toilet, because I know two of the boys that I'm mates with have Series 1 consoles, that both of which in the last 2 weeks have gone and sold them to CX. Because they're like,
Yeah.
it is literally just a box gathering dust. I haven't turned it on probably since this time last year.
Yeah, like I want Xbox to do well. I want competition, because in the gaming space, competition breeds innovation and new developments and all that kind of stuff. And like a lot of my favorite franchises are Xbox franchises. Like I love
Gears of
Halo
War.
and Gears of War. I'm so excited for Gears E-Day, and I
Gears.
can't wait to see what happens with this new Halo team that they've just put together.
Don't ruin it.
Unreal Engine 5. They're getting rid of the old Slipspace engine. It's going to be amazing.
You'd hope.
You'd hope, but in order for it to be that good, it has to have hardware to back it up. Like it has to have an Xbox, because a huge amount of console gamers are not going to build a gaming PC.
Yeah,
they're just not gonna.
They're just not going to. No, like, and even then, a lot. Oh, yeah, this is. It's just one of those ones that you're just kind of like you're watching the sad decline. Like I was actually talking about Nokia and Motorola earlier on, in relation to the other topic we were talking about today, and it's kind of giving me a bit of that. It's like, Nokia stood still, hoping that their brand and reputation would carry them through. Look what happened. Motorola thought their brand and reputation would carry them through. Look what happened. I mean, and Xbox seems to have gone the same way. We haven't seen a good or new Halo game in a while. Gears of War, they obviously shelved for the longest time, and it's just
it's been 5 years since Gears 5 launched.
Yeah, I mean,
now it's coming back in the next couple of months, but
I wouldn't be surprised if we see it. There's a piece of me that says we'll see that on the PlayStation.
I would like that, but I don't see it happening for whatever reason.
Well, like if the Bethesda games are still going out there and they're IP owned, I think there's that sad realization. There might be that sad realization. Again, this is all just me spitting nonsense into the internet and seeing what sticks. But there's this part of me that kind of goes, well, if that's the only route that they can make revenue is by selling their games on alternate platforms, then that's how they'll survive. Is it'll be like they'll just become a kind of a dev house, but like
they'll just do a job, become Sega. What happened to Sega in the 2000s? It's probably happening again before our eyes. Nintendo killed Sega, and now Sony are killing Microsoft. Such is nature. Such is the business world.
So sad. Joe, I'd love a new Sega.
Yeah, it's like,
wouldn't that hit you in the nostalgia?
It really would. Dreamcast was ahead of its time.
Way ahead of its time. Like, way ahead of its time. Such a shame. Like, I do think the gaming space and the console side is flat at the moment, but I kind of understand why, because the PS5 still aren't in open circulation.
That's crazy.
It's fucking nuts. It's a 5-year-old console that's still very, very, very hard to get hold of.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, well, that's the main reason we don't have the Switch as well, because they delayed it because they wanted to make sure there were going to be enough units at launch to basically satisfy as many people as they could, because they know, having seen what happened with Xbox and PlayStation in 2020,
you can't service to the man, people get pissed. That's mad. Actually, speaking of delays, you're probably are you a Football Manager fan?
No.
But have you seen the news?
No. Tell me.
So for only the second time in the franchise's history has the game been delayed.
Wow.
So the first time was like 2003, and that was around their rebrand from Championship Manager for Football Manager, when they were making this massive leap. This year, they had committed to making the biggest change in development of the game in a decade. and it seems like they screwed the pooch a little bit. So what happened there was about 3 weeks ago, the release was pushed back. So normally they release about mid-November, and that means you're kind of getting some pre-release, some beta runs at the moment, some light versions at the moment. So a couple of weeks ago they came out and went, so it's going to be December. There's a few pieces with the new engine and a couple of features that they weren't particularly 100% happy with. And then about 6 days on from that, they went, do you know the way we said we were going to put it back by like a week or two? They're like, yeah, how does May sound?
Oof.
That's fucked it, because that's the football season over. In most of their major markets, that'll be the season over. So I would be of the opinion, me personally, I was like, why am I going to go pay 60 quid for, like, I'm a Football Manager fan. I have all of them since the initial dawn of time when it was Championship Manager. Like, I have the original disc at home in my mother's house still in a box. Like, that's probably could go in a museum at this point. But like, to release in May and then to have your next year's title due for the following November, and they
at that point you just push it out to November
and just skip a year, though.
Skip a year.
Like, I think that's what they have to do, but like, the reputational damage that's going to do to them is not so good.
No, that's not great.
It's not great. Like, before a title like that to go, yeah, we'd have to push back by 6 months because we don't. And then that was basically the general gist of it. They didn't give like follow-up information as to the who, what, where, when, hows. They're like, this is going backdated. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then, that's a big one, because every Christmas day I'm hammered at 11 o'clock in the morning trying to bring my beloved Fulham to the Champions League. I'm like sitting there going, I will re-sign Mitrovic. He's coming home. Have you heard of the 17-year-old Colombian lad? Class.
It's one of those ones that, like, because FIFA is in a bit of a precarious position now, so this could be Football Manager's time.
If only there was somebody developing a football game in the background.
If only.
But more on that another time.
Speaking of more delays, Ubisoft are in a spot of bother.
Is everybody screwed at the moment?
It just looks that way.
I thought we were going to have a really positive chat. It seemed
it's all doom and gloom. So
what's happening? Nothing. Everybody's screwed it.
Yeah, everybody's wrecked. So Star Wars Outlaws didn't sell well.
No,
if you can't make money out of it, I think that was a perfect storm of two things kind of coalescing at a bad time for Ubisoft. Number one, it's a Ubisoft game, and when I say it's a Ubisoft game, you know exactly what kind of a game it is.
Wide as an ocean, deep as a puddle, sexy graphics and repetitive
open world collectibles, side quests that go kind of nowhere, fine writing that's just kind of meh overall.
Stunning graphics, but once you've done the first side quest 3 times, you're not going to want to do it 100 times. Yeah.
Basically,
Ubisoft in a nutshell.
Yeah. And I think we're at a point now culturally where everyone is just sick to the back teeth of Star Wars. There's too much Star Wars content. It's like the Marvel thing that happened a few years. They're just pumping it out, and it's not special anymore. Like,
no, the joy of I've got to do Star Wars games. Which one?
Like, yeah.
I'm after completing the Lego trilogy. Fucking not even the trilogy. The full the
Skywalker collection or whatever. Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah. Which is actually really fun.
Lego games don't miss.
They don't miss. They're designed for 7-year-olds.
And 7-year-olds at heart.
Like, they're beautiful. Like, they do what they're saying. It's like,
you know exactly what you're getting.
Yeah. But yeah, even when I was like, I'm playing the new Star Wars game, it was like the lads on the headset were like, huh, is it Outlaw? Is it this or this or this or this or this? I was like, it's the Lego one.
It's the Lego one.
Like, you've just listed out 5 titles and missed all of them.
But, you know, they're not good movies. But when the prequels came out, everyone was like, oh my God. It was this landmark cultural moment. It's a before and after of the early 1999 and the early 2000s. And then it went quiet for over 10 years. And then all of a sudden, boom. The Force Awakens. And we're back. Oh my God, we are so back. And again, they're not great movies, but it was a cultural moment. And since then, it's just
Do you
been.
know how many people you've just annoyed by saying the Star Wars movie aren't good movies?
I did not say that. I said the sequels and the prequels aren't good movies.
Okay, good save.
The originals,
Good
Rogue
save.
One,
Good save. Good save. Good save.
excellent. Yeah.
Good save. Good save.
But
I was like, oh no. Oh no. Dina Hearn is in the comments.
So people are fed up of Star Wars. People are fed up of like the Ubisoft sandbox game. So Star Wars Outlaws did not sell. So Assassin's Creed has been delayed. Assassin's Creed has been delayed, and anyone who pre-ordered the game is getting the first round of DLC for free.
Is this the Project X or whatever they were calling it?
This is Assassin's Creed Shadows. So this is Assassin's Creed Japan. Which
the trailer of that looked fucking 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Now, like, I think Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to sell very, very well.
It will, because
it is one of those big legacy games that everybody buys. Even casual players will buy it. And I don't use that word.
Mirage, but Valhalla was the one for me. Like, Valhalla was the pinnacle for me in the AC games. But I know a lot of the lads preferred Mirage because it was shorter.
That's exactly that was my gut feeling. It was shorter. It was less expensive. Going back to the whole cheaper for a more, it was a more focused experience, more of a focus on stealth. It was an actual Assassin's Creed game. Whereas, Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, they were just like,
smash.
Yeah, run in, fight things, like ancient history, fantasy, which is fine. That has its place, surely. Yeah. But for me, I thought Mirage was it was a nice kind of sort of a spiritual successor to the first one. Because the first one, if they were going to remake it, it would probably be similar to that.
Yeah. And Mirage was good. Are they kind of sticking with that format, or are they going back to the long form? Do we know, or is that just a case of they're delayed because?
I don't know. I think they're delayed because they're in a bit of a panic mode, so they want to make it as good as they can. They've kind of, I think one of the quotes that just made me kind of cringe was, "Oh, players are less willing to accept an unfinished product." Yeah. So they basically They admitted that the games aren't finished when they come out.
For context, when Ubisoft release new titles, I do get them. Mm-hmm. That's kind of one of the little perks of the job, I guess. Mm-hmm. So Ubisoft do send me on their new titles. So I've played like the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, dog shit. Avatar, whatever the fuck it was called.
Was that Sands of Time is in development hell. Yeah. We may or may not be getting that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the last Prince of Persia one. So.
The
whatever it was.
Lost Crown?
Sounds right, yeah.
Something, yeah.
It was meh at best. The Avatar game was gorgeous.
Yeah.
But Ubisoft, they overdid it.
Yeah.
Watch Dogs was beautiful, great, like landscape, great interactions. But there's so many times I want to talk to Hunana, who's a hacker. Right, and it's a shame because they make really good titles, big titles. They get a lot of the big names, and they have a pedigree.
Yeah,
it's almost like a couple of years ago they found a template and went, "We do that now."
Yeah, I think that was one of the things that when Assassin's Creed 2 came out, and then very shortly after Far Cry 3 came out, and everyone got to those. Oh, this is new. This is something different, and it's great. And then they brought out Assassin's Creed Brotherhood the following year, and a couple of years later, Far Cry 4. And that was when they kind of had the formula workshopped in Assassin's Creed 2 and Far Cry 3, but in Far Cry 4 and Brotherhood, that was when they nailed it.
Yes.
They got everything right because they said, okay, we've done the groundwork. Now we can just make every little bit of those games a little bit better.
Yeah.
And they did.
They really did.
But the problem is
they've taken a box template now and applied it to basically all of their
They've left it there like, oh, we've perfected it. No. You made it really good. You didn't perfect it.
Yeah, but
it can always be better.
Those games should have their own subtleties, let's say, whereas it's like if you drop the Avatar gameplay, game interaction over Watch Dogs, it's very samey. Probably similar if you were to overlay that on Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's very
or Far Cry, I'm sure.
Yeah, they're all from the same cookie cutter box of big open world that's super sexy to look at. Many things happening, but you also have to go and collect these 200 fish.
Yeah.
So
But like, I
doing that.
finished Assassin's Creed Mirage, and the credits started rolling. I hit fast forward. The credits rolled for 15 minutes because Ubisoft adopted this 24-hour development cycle
Mm-hmm.
where it's a global team. So when one team is quitting at 5 o'clock, another team somewhere is just starting at 8 o'clock the
I'd
following
be
morning.
so annoyed. I would be
So
so annoyed. It's like, hold on a second. I wake up in the morning. Cool. I must finish off the faces, and then you come in and say, "What's happened here?
yeah, so someone else has done the faces for me. Okay, what do I do now?
Where am I going here?" And then it's almost like an hour of, I had and also that's not how I had envisioned it.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's this design by committee. You know, they're
There's no love.
they're camels. Yeah, there's no not like, and I keep coming back to this argument. It's like, how many people who worked on the original Assassin's Creed or even Assassin's Creed 2 worked on Assassin's Creed Mirage or Valhalla? Probably none. Was that a fair guess?
I would say at best you're talking count them on your hand.
Yeah.
On a singular hand.
Do you
and
know
that
how
might
many?
be someone who was based here at the start, who's now a project lead or something like that.
Do you know how many people it took to make the first Mario game?
Do I want
5.
to know? Fuck.
How many of those 5 worked on Mario Bros. Wonder nearly 40 years later?
3?
4.
Yeah.
And that's because one of the guys was like vice president of the whole company, so he just couldn't. You know, so there's no continuity of passion. There's no it's nobody's passion project. No one in Ubisoft really deeply cares about Assassin's Creed or Far Cry
it's just
outside of
we
it
know it
being a
makes money.
check. Yeah,
Get a nice storyline. Let's make it look pretty. Get it out there. There's
yeah.
not someone going, no. This is the story. This part needs to match with this. Do you remember the third one where we said this? Cool. We need to make sure this ties, and just have some crazy bastard standing in front of a wall like that, like the meme. It's like, we did this, and that's dead. It's
with Prince of Persia, and I will also go to bat for the Mario and Rabbids games. With those games, there's very much a sense of this was something that someone wanted to get off the ground for a long time, because it's so unlike anything that Ubisoft have done outside of their usual.
That definitely seems like someone went into a room and was like, whether I make it here or not, I'm making it.
Yeah, and it was like those games are small enough that, and the credits are very short, so it's a small team. It's a small internal team, probably given you can have X amount of budget, make what you can with this, and it better be good. So
they went and did
it. And I think passion projects like that should be celebrated. They should be more common. I'd like to see them more. And again, they were cheaper games. They were the cheaper titles.
But I also think with the developers, nobody gets into gaming development without a graw of the game. Do you know that kind of way? Like everybody who I've ever met, and I've met a lot of developers over the last 6 months because of my other project that I will not talk about on this until the time comes. But anyway, I've met with a lot of game developers over the last 6 months, and you know that there was a title, there was a particular game which just got into the back of their head and was like, this is what you're meant to do. And now there's this passion for, I want to make a game, or there's this particular type of game or something that I want to do. And that's how you get into that. Whereas over the last couple of years, it's been like, churn out the Fortnite skins. We have to have a new delivery in 7 days. It's like,
there's a case of, people getting into game development because I want to make something that makes someone else feel the way this other game made me feel. And the unfortunate reality is you go in the doors of Ubisoft, EA, Rockstar, 2K, whoever, and it's like, that's your desk. You're adding peach fuzz to people's cheeks today. And the people who make the games do exist. It's the storyboarders, it's the writers, it's the idea people. The grunt work is done by people who have the passion, but unfortunately, passion can't sustain you in that industry. It's
such a shame.
It is a shame, and we need more AA games. We need more indie games. We need people just fighting that fight because If I could, I would,
I've
but I don't
played
have
some
that skill set. I'm
wild
not creative
titles.
enough.
Like, I've played wild titles recently. I've played like the Firefighter Simulator, which is muck, but it's muck I enjoy because someone went, "Joe, it'll be fun. Put out fires."
If it's bad, but you enjoy it, is it bad?
Yeah, it's like guilty bad, like that kind of Joe. That vibe. It's that this is muck, but someone went, "Joe, it'll be great crack. We can put out fires and sorting out the equipment and the fire truck." And you're like, it's like, yeah, that's actually pretty cool.
But I put out my review a few weeks ago. I keep thinking it's a couple of months, but like the game's only out 5 weeks of Space Marine 2, which it was one of my most anticipated games maybe ever.
Yeah.
And I paid extra for the 4 days early access edition. I wouldn't normally do that. I waited until after the review embargo dropped. But I knew without a shadow of doubt I was going to buy that game and I was going to play the hell out of it, regardless of its quality. I knew I was going to have a great time. So, lucky me, the game is great.
Yeah.
But, it's not about the quality of the game. It's about how much fun you have with the game. And is that not what the game is for? Like you're meant to have.
I'm very much a bang for their buck type gamer. It's like, I want to know that I can pick this up in a year's time and still love it.
Oh yeah.
And like, I've definitely found that in Palworld at the moment, where I might not touch that for 7 months, but I'll log in and look at my little Rivendell base and go, oh yeah, and go back doing a bit of fire and go back doing a bit of farming, or like the Spider-Man games. I love them. I can happily see myself. Well, I have played most of them at least twice, but I could see myself playing that through again because the story was very good. And
I was only thinking today, because it's a year today since Spider-Man 2 came out, I'm thinking I might go back.
Yeah. I'm probably going to go and do Miles Morales over the Christmas break or something like that. Because
that one is set at Christmas.
That's shit! Here's the last one I'm going to release. Because it's nearly time to wrap up. Do you see Spider-Man DLC content but got pulled?
Yep. I suspect that's because of the leak as well. Because Insomniac had a big leak, and that's probably why a lot of it got cancelled.
And it's such a shame. I was hoping that means that they're holding back some stuff for a big boozy title to close out the series.
Yep.
That's what I'm hoping for.
I'm there day one. If those games have one fan, it's me.
I'll be right there with you.
Yep.
Can we do a nerd update for that?
Oh, 100%.
I think if we get a new Spider-Man this time next year, what we fucking live stream.
Oh, 100%.
Straight in and yeah. Now give me a co-op online mode and let's go.
That they were going to do that.
Yeah, I know.
That was a game that got cancelled.
Are you going to be Peter or Miles?
Oh no, I'd be like Spider-Man Noir. I'd be Nick Cage, yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Screw it. Yeah, like it's John. I had hope before this call.
Yeah, it's been a lot more doom and gloom than I was expecting.
There's been a lot more doom and gloom. We started with the sad and scary, the scary games, and I think what's been scarier since has been all of the leaks and all of the things that are wrong. But we'll finish it off with, there are good games. A lot of the good games are under €40 right now.
Yep.
Go find the title that you enjoy and go have a nice time, because there is some really, really, really good games. And I'm just after noticing it looks like I have a shaved design in my eyebrow. That is not no,
that's not intentional.
No, that is literally just my hair, and I'm just going to pull it over, and then nobody's going to see it. That was not an intentional. Anyway, Alex, as per usual, we have a good time talking games and
to close. Sorry, I will say to close. Speaking of spooky games, speaking of cheap games, there is 9. I'm going to double check now, but I would be shocked if there wasn't a Steam sale right now for Halloween. So if you want a cheap game, if you want spooky games, there we go. Special offers. Vampire Survivors, spooky games.
A1.
Check them out.
Discounts. Apart from that, any reviews that we should be keeping an eye out for on the Goosed page?
I will be doing up a Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom review soon. The first Zelda game where you actually play as Zelda. I'm loving it so far. It's great. Apart from that, my Astrobot review went up last week. Great game. A little disappointing in terms of the meta narrative. I go into that in the review, so have a read of that. And that's pretty much it from me.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good way to sign off. So I suppose on that note, the usual rigmarole that I'm about to do, we are on every single social media platform known to man, apart from the X Twitter box thing. We are Goosed.ie on Instagram, on Facebook, Martin at Goosed at TikTok. You will find us on all of the great and good podcasting channels, including video on Spotify, because you can not see our faces all over the internet nowadays. We're real people. And apart from that, good night, good morning, goodbye, good day, good evening, and good afternoon, depending on whenever the hell you listen to this. And it's been a pleasure. Let's go and enjoy the evening. Peace out, my friend.
Be good.